points behind Virtus.pro.
Yes.
That's not a lot when we kind of talk about some of our game, some of our team. So while yes, it was all about Virtus.pro running away with it, Twisted Minds, they're right there in the mix.
What a story it would be, by the way, and to bounce back from map 1. But then, sorry, not map 1, day 1, where they struggled so much, we weren't sure if they were getting through groups or not. End up in a situation where they are right on the cusp, the tails of the current leaders in finals, the bounce back, the installation of confidence that they have so desperately needed. But we have another drop, and ladies and gentlemen, the reason Dandro is losing his damn mind though is because we've just seen the circle. Prepare yourselves for a bloodbath.
Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to all see this one because I think maybe we said, hey, you know, things have been going a little bit too good today. It's been a little bit too by the nose, you know, the zones favoring some teams, maybe not others. I think it's about map number 6 says, let's throw this into chaos. Let's start our own discussion because you can see in the top left there, everybody is about to have to head down to Stronghold and Living Quarters, man. And so for a couple of these teams, it makes sense that you have to get active early. Gravelok is trying to be able to stay alive here, but Team Vision does a great job. You wipe Enkyo, and while that's all happening, EXO Esports, they are already wiped, fresh off the game.
Yeah, really interesting landing as well off screen, by the way, for Twisted Minds. One of them goes to Factory as typical, one of them goes to Harbor, one of them went to Control Center to fight Thieves.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure exactly what the call is there, but trying to apply some pressure and, well, doesn't necessarily go well because 2 of your players die. At least Smitty off towards Factory will be safe for now. Let's take a look over towards headquarters. AG Global, not been much of the conversation, really. Robstar, Evoss Esports sitting atop his tower. Will just back his opponent down, but not feeling very fresh with no plates in the pocket to survive any onslaught that might come his way. And right now, everybody just trying to fight for a little bit later land. With how south and how hard this circle is pulling, soon everyone's going to have to begin on those rotations.
And one thing that's interesting, I'm seeing Donkey in this kill feed. He lands at that red building over towards Harbor, and he is just continuing to push on into Factory. Has kind of been able to find a couple of picks onto Twisted Minds. And I think maybe Virtus.pro having this realization, saying, hey, what made us so successful through these first basically 4 maps that we had, it was being able to have Donkey and Noobs push on out, find a bunch of kills while Sage is able to stay alive. And I think maybe, even though the zones haven't gone their way necessarily, they need to get back to that form here in game number 6. But already, a lot of our players starting to move. Some interesting things happening on the map. For Team Vision, you've already had 2 wins on the day. And it looks like for now, you've managed to win Bio. And I think Lennon maybe has a sneaking suspicion there's going to be a player over here at the submarine. Go ahead, get that loadout, hit that buy station. Maybe wait for Hollow to go ahead, pop his head on up. Ahsoka, DS, Biffle, they've actually made a fast rotation back over here towards Factory. We saw this happening last game, and it didn't necessarily work out great for the Falcons. So he's going to send shots down on range onto Almond, top of Factory. Unfortunately, you got to back away for the time being.
You will indeed. Almond just on Overwatch here. He's going to see the cross. It's inside smoke at least, and that's why the Falcons forever live to tell another tale, because they know not to take those crossings lightly. Will get themselves up towards headquarters. Will Rated peer over towards this? The answer is a no. So Soka, Biffle leading the front lines. Will slip inside the buildings here. Looking for a couple of Soka. Well, LC10 will deal a little bit of damage for Scumming. A little bit of a do-si-do, a little bit of a left, a little bit of a right. You read where he's gotten off to. The answer is no. Scumming does enough to slip away. And Soka, well, he's found a couple of more players. Might well find poor timing as he loses Biffle.
Yeah, I mean, Biffle going down is going to force Soka to maybe get a little bit active. Scumming throws his shoulders at the wrong time. I was thinking maybe Rated was there to look on over him, but no, he's getting pushed by Extra J on the other side. As CT Gaming, they have flexed on out of prison. They decide to bring the energy towards AG.AL. Nate Dogg still up in the tower. Second game in a row, I gotta say, we see Soka and Diaz Biffle being the 2 to surge on forward, not Shifty. So Shifty's gonna stay down there towards Stronghold. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's not feeling himself today. It just says, hey, you know, obviously, Soka, if you're feeling it, man, you gotta go for it. Bring the energy your way. So Falcons, we'll go ahead and reset down below. For everybody else, it's a big push through prison. Virtus.pro. Even though Dongy's been getting active early on in this game, you have to stay alive on this rotation. You find Echo. Donkey with another one. Already sitting on 5, and we're only missing 1 team here, ladies and gentlemen. As Virtus.pro, they'll take to the roof. You have Evos in your way. Showstopper, great snakes across. And I think if you're noobs, you wait for Donkey here. Yeah, you're just gonna go ahead and pincer this from a couple different directions, and Showstopper just tries to play his life, but it is not enough.
There's no heartbeat, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We lose FaZe Clan and also Rock Esports. So down to 11 teams trying to hit this rotation. Expect this to thin the lobby quickly here because this rotation, again, just going to continue to pull squads off towards Factory. Twisted Minds trying to do what they did last time, create a bit of a buff, a bit of a barrier. Hallow's going to be out in the water. Aiden doesn't necessarily spot him, but probably understands here that he just needs to clear a little bit of a path around his base, the place he's called home through this tournament. Grumlock picked up by Robstar in the feeds. E-Smith finds Hallow. Gentlemates have been in the scramble since the very beginning of this map. And it has not gotten any better as we approach halfway through our second circle.
I like what Smitty's doing here. I think sometimes Twisted Minds, they allow people to take this boat and they just become annoying in the endgame, kind of zones. And I think they look at this map and they say, hey, this zone likely is going to pull us off Factory at some point. I'd love to be able to get on out of this POI without having another team at our back. So doing this nice little split is huge because you can see they find one player, Hollow, he gets found in the feed as well. So Gentlemates in a bit of a blender on that side of the map. For Virtus.pro, they've made their way into zone on top of Prison. And they have a good idea that Nate Dogg is going to be on up here. And I think they have a similar idea, managing to say, if we could just manage to hold on to top Prison, this would be great. News with some fantastic nades landing on top of Nate Dogg. Won't manage to bring him on down, but at least we'll force him to go ahead, play back on up, burn some of those resources. And I think this could be very scary if you are in this lobby. The Virtus.pro is in a power position and potentially has sights on a lot of different teams.
We lose another team, by the way, Novo Esports, a squad that struggled all day. They will be our fourth squad eliminated from this map. The French have taken to the waters. A bit of pressure here from CT Gaming as well, and Resolve, and he's now gone. Leviathan going to be a part of the conversation. Problem is, if you are the Frenchman, how much do you have in terms of plate to take on that fight? Because you've actually had a while there if you are Leviathan, so they may have some utility. 100 Thieves squeezing up towards Prison. Plenty of company, you find the shot into Echo.
Swing it, do it, baby. Oh. Gabe playing a little bit too good right now. Doesn't let the overchild happen. Doesn't let him get active. But Gabe is now just fully off the leash, and he is running free in Prison. He finds one, and he finds Scum in there, and I think he wants to keep going here, Enigma. Starting to maybe feel himself. He's currently on his 6, and this is what makes this 100 Thieves team so dangerous, is that I feel like when you're in this moment, they say, we have control center, we feel pretty good. Hey, Gabe, you know how you were Rookie of the Year not too long ago? Let's go ahead and remind everybody why that was, as Gabe is just absolutely running through Prison, and this has become his playground.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one for this 100 Thieves roster. We've heard them talk about their game plan, how they like to play around each other, but sometimes when they do get control of control, they like to then push on out, and Gabe doing that to great effect. You also had clearance off boat off towards your side there as CT threatened. So 100 Thieves looking good, setting up there on yellow off towards the top left corner of your minimap. But we took a look at the zone, my friend, and everyone's scrambling for a bit of control. This might be living quarters in the end. Factory still going to be controlled by Twisted Minds. A lot of teams down in the water, but otherwise it's big rotations coming in from Prison to set teams up for the late game. They will be on the higher ground, so potentially the preferential position. But for now, Falcons, they're fighting over G1, G2. You will lose Soka, Biffle. Putting damage down range, but I'm seeing one kill on the board. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously a lot of fights being happening right now for DS Biffle. I love that you call that out. 1,600 damage to his name, but only one singular kill. It means that you're probably throwing a shoulder, getting an armor craft. You're not actually able to commit to that fight and be able to bring somebody down. So right now, at least for one member of the Falcons, it hasn't been too great. Dongi throws too much of his face on top of Prison, and Skullface is happy to send shots right up there from control. We'll go ahead and knock Dongi. That is going to be a full. You still have control of this top side. If you are 100 Thieves, you don't have to worry too much about it. Team Vision still down here in the bottom as well. They'll maintain control from this angle. While Noobs, he's dropped on down. I don't know if he's going to hear any of that movement.
Oh, he will.
Going to wait for somebody to maybe pop on out.
Noob, yeah, trying to bide his time here, trying to activate in the correct moment. Echo reads it, Thermite catches, and death do us part as this war wages on between these two. Skullface actually ends up getting that kill from off towards the control center. That's frustrating one for Team Vision. Then again, if they punch up onto the rooftop here, this could give them the look over the rest of the land as everyone else scrambles beneath. Twisted Mind still holding onto Factory here. Haven't yet begun their rotation over towards the living quarters, and it's finding the correct time to do that. Not an easy place to set up. You risk being pinched in, so it's better to come in with that circle and just clear path on the route.
Well, that's realistically what we're looking at right now here, Enigma, is that we just have a couple teams that are all playing on the outer edge of zone. There's only one player in the middle, and that's Robstar on top of Green. And, well, he's basically just laying on his stomach the entire time, just trying to maybe hold on to this one until the very end. Play towards placement. Says, I'm going to let everybody else go ahead and try and maybe fry on out here. You can see Allman has surged on up, has an idea that the Gentlemates are out here on the edge, but I'm looking at Noobs, gets dropped by Aiden. Dongi, he's taken out as well, so where is Sage? Can Sage stay alive and keep Virtus.pro on in it? But Z-Smith, he's going to be able to find Noobs. Sage actually over in prison in a battle, because you can see AG.AL, they've come on up, they're trying to take a team vision, so if you're Sage, maybe you're thanking your stars that AG.AL have maybe taken the ire of team vision away from you, and FIFA Kill in his last dying breath at least will be able to get a buy off, get Echo back on into the mix, but Lennon, a huge 1v2 to his name. He finds Raiden. Scumman's coming in from below. The pre-fires, he knows exactly where he's coming from. Tempered, gonna let him reset this fight very, very quickly, and Echo flies on over towards the buy station, but Scumman with the turn and burn! He finds the last two remaining members of Team Vision, wipes them off the map, but Donkey, he'll be able to make the trade onto Scumman, and Sage slides on down to hit the buy station.
Incredible work there from Scumman to find that second kill. Won't be much comfort to Nate Dogg because he sits up atop that tower alone. Virtus.pro, they've continued to find a way into this, and they'll be very thankful, of course, to AG Global for saving Sage's life, quite frankly. Now setting themselves up, looking on over the top. Squad's starting to push in now towards living quarters. Twisted Minds finding their way in ground. Gentlemates are still alive somehow. How the hell? I don't know. Falcons have got to consider their rotation. They'll have CT Gaming to deal with first. But the problem is, from this area, and something they've struggled with all day, everyone can look over at you from that wall side. And now 100 Thieves have your number.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do manage to make out your way out of CT Gaming, you basically hit it right on the head. On one side, you have 100 Thieves who are looking down at you, and the other, it's either going to be the Gentlemates or Twisted Minds, because look at this, Twisted, they find the angle. Almond, he good, he lines him on up, he knocks them on down, and you might see Twisted full send this. A nade through this door could be absolutely crucial right now. It won't manage to connect, but what's more important though, you find Diaz Biffle in that mix. You bring the Falcons down to 2. Now the Falcons, they haven't had great placement in these early games, but here they only need to hang on to 2 more spots to actually get to that 1.4. The question is though, do they have the kills to take advantage of it?
Well, that's a good question indeed. Actually, I'm going to say, by the way, I love this play out of Twisted Minds to back off. I was a little bit worried they were going to continue to send at the Falcons, knowing how much they want to get rid of them. But the composure is there, the comms, the control, the discipline to back up. Gabe also showing an element of discipline. He's just holding a line here as Shifty tries to cross.
I mean, it's just both of these teams, these are 2 veteran squads. They know that Falcons are going to be down here, and they know they're saying, in this position, we need to be looking this way if we want to cut them on down. So while Twisted Minds rotate on out, 100 Thieves, they're going to move on over. It's only 1 player left from the Falcons playing on out in the gas. Meanwhile, everywhere else, we see Noob, Sage, and Dongi all get dropped, but I'm looking for the full. Can anybody go ahead and maybe bring them on out? But here in green, it is becoming a party. Up top, you have Evos, Gentlemates in the middle, Twisted Minds down below, and where this zone goes, well, it goes all the way back towards headquarters. You're gonna have to fight your way uphill.
You will indeed. Soka's here, by the way, has 12 kills on the board, so yes, Falcons will fall in 5th. They get that multiplayer, they get a lot of kills. Didn't necessarily look like a great map, but turns out it could be one that lifts them back into the plate. Gentlemates are here. They have company down below in Twisted Minds. They've got 2 EVOS players up above, and you've also got all 3 of 100 Thieves setting up sensors up.
Look at the wrap, though. They're coming in on the outside. Jawad activates, though. Those are 2 huge kills under the members of the Gentlemates. He will get found on out, and Soka actually somehow gets the kill for a nade onto Rodstar. But we come down to the final 2 teams, and look at the rotations that are coming on through. Skullface, blast there towards the sub. Skull, he finds E-Smith. Blast finds Almond, and well, Skull brings down Aiden again. 100 Thieves, they were in 4th before that game, just on the outside looking in, and Enigma, I think with some smart plays, with some smart looks, huge kills, you let Gabe off the leash. Thieves, they might have just started to enter the top of our leaderboard, and they might be saying, hey, we were a squad everybody had to look at, we're here now.
But the 100 Thieves motto is take what is not given. They've sure as hell had to do that through this tournament.
Yes.
Fighting for control every single map through all 4 days of this event. And now fighting very much so up towards those top placings, a position that none of us would have put them in yesterday when it looked like they weren't even making it through LCQs. But they are figuring it out. That rotation comes through, setting them up for the end game. Great work there. But it's that discipline coming through. I think that they recognize the Falcons were in trouble. Gabe sets himself up to cover that cross and make sure that their stronghold side is protected. And therefore, we know how Living Quarters plays out. It's such a dangerous position. You can be pinched in, so you want to come in with a circle. Make sure your back is against the gas. You don't have to look behind you. And they just march on forward. Recognize that zone pull early and do a wonderful job to close themselves out here and likely lift themselves ever closer to our top 2.
I mean, dude, this is just getting great. These are a lot of the teams that we said you have to keep your eye on, and well, for the time being, it feels like we're getting delivered right now. Gentlemates, we got to talk about them. They make it towards that end game as well. It's just unfortunate